Yeah. Two. Yeah. Aye.
Got over money.
I'm jacking the beat, you calling the cops. The yapping is cheap, I call you the ops. The rapping is hating, it's all cause of pop. You get a leak for the ball, get a drop. Feel like I'm wrong when I double it back, cause I'm making it harder to catch that. But I covered the ticket, I call you to visit. You tipping and hit up the cash app. Baby girl, been round for it. Yeah, in the old days, I was stuck in old ways. Never really trying to flip the old page. Young man tripping at an old age. Thinking eyes flicking, had a low wage. Led the bro days, then a slow praise. Thinking it'd be different, it would gon' change. Then it really didn't, it's a cold game. Yeah, ayy. All I really wanted was the money in the pocket. Got over money, but the money ain't a topic. Like Bill Doe and the money gotta stop it. Kid need food and the whip need juice. I'ma get these views when
What's good, baby? It's your boy Dale. I'm back in the saddle again. Our motto is to buy, build. We already bought it already, so we already own it, free and clear. Refinance to long-term debt, cash flow. That is the motto. Cliff, man, is that a pretty strong motto, man? What do you think?
Man, the model is strong. Like, you're getting each piece of the invest, right?
What it do, babies? It's your partner Dale and Cliff back in the saddle again, always looking better than you. So while you can, take that damn picture and give it to your grandma this time, not your mama, guys. So, man, thanks so much for coming to Real Estate Live, guys, every Friday at 5 p.m. We get it in with the people. Cliff, man, talk to people, man. How was the week, man? Holler at people, man. What's going down?
Man, good week, busy. The market's starting to come back a little bit. We starting to see a little signs here and there. So, man, good week though. Like to stay busy, get that bag. You know what I mean? So we good.
Yeah, man, it's been a very, very, very busy week for your partners. Well, like today has been crazy, man. We're preparing for something pretty special tomorrow. And Cliff, man, it's been crazy with the amount of people signing up, man, for the real estate free masterclass tomorrow. It's free, and you'll hear about that at the end of the show, guys. But man, guys, no, I got to ask a question, Cliff. Did we get the bag?
Oh yeah, yeah. Got it
We
this week.
got the bag. Okay, we got the. We gotta make sure we get the bag, y'all. You know how it is. But well, Cliff, man, let's dive into this thing. You know how we begin every single week. Current market analysis, but we're gonna do something a little different this time. Typically, we'll play a video and then we respond. Man, Cliff, brother, we are both active in this arena right now. What's going on, man? From a license appraiser standpoint, guys, Cliff, if you could tell people, man, what's going on with the market from what you see, and then I'll chime in as well.
So we see basically there's a divergence of what's going on in the market. So what
Okay.
you see is two different points. The first point is what people want.
Mm-hmm.
People are still pricing their properties as if the properties are going higher in value.
Mm.
So over the last 3 months, you see steady increase.
Okay.
Now, what are they selling for?
Mm-hmm.
Those are going the opposite direction. They're
Yeah.
selling for less and less.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So right now, what you're seeing the headline numbers is what we call headline numbers. That's what people are
Mm.
posting.
Mm.
The psychology hasn't been broke yet. People still
Mm.
think they can get big money for their property.
Yeah. 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 Dustin on Instagram will save this live. He said he's out and about. No problem. We'll save this live, guys. No problem with it at all. But yeah, I agree with Cliff. So Cliff, I come in on Cliff and then I ask you a question, Cliff. Yes, but forget that. Let me ask you this question from a praise standpoint, and I want Cliff's perspective because he's actively in the market on the retail side. Okay, also on the investor side because he's buying properties as well. We are now when it comes to why do you think people on the retail side are still thinking that their property is worth a certain price point, but it doesn't match what's going on in the market?
Because of the speed that it went down.
Okay.
They're just not getting caught up. Um, and you also, what I tend to see is a lot of realtors will tell them we can get you a lot more than what we can just to get the contract.
Ah, so
And
in other
so,
so in other words, some realtors lying to people.
oh, I mean, they have a tendency to tell them what they want to hear. That's not all
Mm,
realtors, but
sure.
you have some that do that.
I
And
got you.
so
I got you.
what's happening is they're trying to put on the market and see what they can get.
Okay.
That's what's really happening. They're trying to say throw out a big number because sometimes you can get it.
Yeah.
So they're throwing out a big number. What's happening is the days on market
Yeah.
is extending. At one point, it used to
Mm.
be 15 days and 20 days. Now we're seeing 30, 40 days
Wow.
that you're seeing properties sit on the market because they priced it too high to begin with.
I agree. I agree. I agree. I'm seeing the same thing, guys, and I'm seeing a little bit different when it comes to price range, price point wise, right? On the retail side, properties $300,000 and below, they selling like hotcakes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Still selling like hotcakes. But anything over 300,000, maybe even 400,000, depending on the area, the city itself, there's a longer wait time when it comes to properties being on the market. Is that what you're saying as well, Cliff?
Yeah. Most of the properties you see for sale are or that are selling quick. They still have the strong numbers. They still
Yeah.
are. It's all properties that are low price.
Yeah. And typically because they're going after low price ones, guys, is because people are downsizing. Number one, and number two, with a higher interest rate, you're at 7.5% right now, 7.5% right now. You have to cut your buying power in half or make more money. That's what's going on. It's the cost benefit analysis. It's really simple to see. But man, Cliff, from a appraiser standpoint, have you been extremely busy in this market? And if so, at what price point?
Yeah. I mean, especially the last 2 weeks, it's picked up. I started to see a lot more people start to enter the market. Price point, I'm seeing from 300 to probably about I would say 400,000.
Yep.
A lot of those. A lot of I would say
Yep.
probably around 400,000 is probably the average. I will say,
Mm, mm.
and then I got a couple below it, but like the $600,000 property, I don't see those as much.
Really, really. Now why? Now why do you?
700,000, 800,000. I
Now
see.
why? Now why is that, Cliff? Why is that?
I mean, think about it. It's double. So if you have a $800,000 property,
Hmm.
that could be the same as someone paid. So think about this: 3 or 4 years ago,
Yeah.
what would someone have paid for that property? They may have paid 600,000 for it. They might
Yeah.
have paid 550.
Yeah.
So now it's 600 because we had inflation, so it went up,
That's right.
and then you doubled the price of the house,
That's correct.
and now you're basically saying that property is almost like $1 million property
Yes.
back in the day. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So what you've done effectively is you've taken now that part of the marketplace is now considered high end. What high end used to be 1.2, now that's dropped down to 700,000 because of
Hmm.
the mortgage payments.
And I'm glad you said the mortgage payments because of the fact that he's talking about the interest rate, guys. It's doubled.
Right.
It's doubled. I mean, it was 3.25, 3.5. Now you're
Right.
at 7.5.
Yep.
So the cost to buy the same property has doubled. So you either have to make double the amount of money or downsize. It's real simple, guys. All right. But man, this is very interesting, guys. Now, guys, I saw some interesting things happen today, guys. Not today, but over the week. Cliff, something interesting going on with Cracker Barrel.
Mm.
Cracker Barrel is going on. Let's see what's going on with Cracker Barrel, guys. All right, let's see what's going on. Let's listen to what's going on with Cracker Barrel. This is going to probably shock you a little bit, but let's see. Let's go.
2023 recession just hit Cracker Barrel, whose stock price is crashing right now. They just had a very bad earnings report, and their income is, get this folks, down 50% from where it was a year ago because Cracker Barrel is getting hammered by inflation. Their costs went up anywhere from 6 to 12% over the last year, while their revenue only grew by 5%, thus their big loss. And what's even worse is their CEO is saying things are going to get worse as 2023 goes along. He said that due to economic uncertainty uncertainty, lower consumer confidence, and inflation, they're projecting even lower revenue and more losses into the future. And Cracker Barrel is a store and a company that should be doing well in a recession. This was thought of as a very recession resilient business. So the fact that they're having big problems and their stock is crashing and their income is crashing is a bad sign for the US economy and suggests that consumers are tapping out after 2 years of inflation exceeding their wages. Just so you know, these earnings were reported before the boycotts. The 2023.
Dang, Cliff, Doc. Bruh, what you thinking, Doc? Holla at your partner. What's going on with that, big dog?
Hey, the market is hot. I mean, what I mean by that, I mean it's expensive. You know what I'm saying? It's take your, think about, I used to, just as an example, I like going to Cane's. I like their chicken. It's good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been there lately. I know you got a good family. You got a family of 4 over there. A family of 4. You decide to go get Cane's. That's gonna hit you up almost $100 to try to go over there. So think about that for the average family just trying to go get a basic bite to eat. They starting to see $50, $60, $100 at drive-throughs. You see what I'm saying? That don't sound right. So now you're talking about trying to go to Cracker Barrel? Get out of here.
Man. Woo. I agree with Cliff, guys. Again, inflation is not just centered around as far as the consumer at the house. It affects the consumer at the house, but it also affects your businesses. And your businesses, whenever their cost of goods goes up, who do they pass it on to? Not to themselves, to you. It's real simple. It's called cost, profit. They pass the cost on to you. So whenever you had a high regulation or high taxes, and inflation is a stealth tax, guys. It's stealth tax. What happens is that tax is always passed to the consumer. That's real simple. Am I right, Cliff, or am I off base?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, most companies they're gonna try to absorb what they can, right? They want to stay in business. If it's 1%, they might take it, but at a certain point, they got to pass it on to you. So when they raise taxes on people, they raising taxes on the product
every single time, guys. Now, guys, something else came out this week, and you probably didn't know this, Cliff. Foreclosures are surging, Doc.
Yeah.
They are surging. What are you seeing as an appraiser?
To me, the foreclosures the surge you're seeing is artificial.
Okay.
It's artificial because foreclosures to begin with are at an all-time low. So you're surging from an all-time low.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So that means it's not even the 2008 crisis, not even close. We're not even in that area. Nowhere close. I think in the state of Texas, it's like a 3% foreclosure rate. Very, very low. If that goes to 4, that appears to spike because that's a 33% increase. Yeah, but 33% from 3% is low.
Gotcha. I can see the rationale. Let's listen to this other perspective, and then you and I will respond. Here we go.
All right, everyone, we got big problems in the US housing market right now because banks are starting to take people's houses and the foreclosure filings are surging. With data from Adam Data Solutions showing that foreclosure activity in America spiked in May 2023. In particular, we saw 35,000 houses with foreclosure filings, which was up 14% from a year ago. And my concern is that we're going to continue to see these foreclosure filings in America increase into the second half of 2023 and the first half of 2024 because so many homeowners in America right now are house poor. They're struggling. They can barely afford to pay the monthly payment. And as the recession gets worse and the unemployment rate goes up, we're going to see even more foreclosures hit the U.S. housing market. And that's something that the CEO of Adam Data Solutions agrees with. He sees that there's an upward trajectory in foreclosures that suggests the possibility of continued heightened activity. In addition, foreclosure completions saw their largest monthly increase in the last year. And in particular, in this video, I'm going to show you some of the cities and states where I think
Wow.
the foreclosures are going to get
I
worse
wanna
and
see them
banks are
cities.
going to take the most homes. But in particular, I think one state is going to get hit really hard by this is
Oh.
Florida, because we're already seeing the foreclosures increase in Florida. If you go
Whoa.
on Zillow and you look around Orlando or Kissimmee, you'll see more and more listings like this that say foreclosure on the bottom. And the reason that the foreclosures are going to be bad in Florida is because there's a lot of risky mortgages. There's a lot of bad lending that goes on in Florida. There's a lot of FHA home buyers who only put 3 to 5% down. There's a lot of investors and second home buyers who are more likely to give up the property in a downturn. And as a result, Florida got hit by foreclosures very hard in 2007. I think they're going to get hit hard again. And I'm going to show some more of that data later in this video. But first, it's important you understand as a home buyer and investor that we're only starting to get back to normal in terms of the foreclosures right now. The government during the pandemic, they banned the foreclosures for 2 years. And even if the banks wanted to foreclose, they couldn't foreclose because of COVID. But now those restrictions are gone. And due to those restrictions being gone, we are seeing that increase in foreclosures. Now, take a look at this. It doesn't look like a huge increase quite yet. You can see it's gone up and basically gotten back to normal in terms of the foreclosure filings. Of course, the first thing you guys probably notice when you look at this graph is 2009. Wow, look what happened in 2009. The foreclosures went crazy. We had almost 1 million foreclosure filings per quarter in 2009, 2010. One of the reasons why the last crash was so bad. But what I'm concerned with is that this foreclosure line is going to spike in coming quarters here, much like it did in 2005, 2006. You can see the foreclosures were low. People didn't think the housing downturn would be that bad. And then they went vertical. And the way that foreclosures go vertical and it can increase very fast is you combine risky lending and bad lending with economic turmoil and a recession. If you have that combination, you can go from having no foreclosures to tons and tons of foreclosures. And what we're seeing in the US economy right now is that we're in the beginning stages of a recession. The leading indicators say that the recession is either here or it's going to get worse in coming months and quarters, which suggests that the unemployment rate is going to go up. And in fact, we're already starting to see job losses. We're starting to see initial unemployment claims increase up to 261,000, the highest level since late 2021. So we're starting to see these job losses. Now, what a lot of people mistakenly think in the housing market is that we don't have bad loans this time around. I mean, tell me if you guys have heard people say this, whether they're a realtor or investor before. They'll say, all the loans are good loans in this housing market, and everyone has a good credit score, and there's no bad loans, and thus we're not going to have foreclosures this time around. So many people say that, and it's just not true because we have so many low down payment mortgages today, even more low down payment mortgages than we had back in 2007, which is a huge risk for foreclosures and a big red flag. Let me show you guys what this data looks like in particular. Let's see if I can pull it up here. That's right, everyone. So on this graph, we're comparing the share of mortgages made to buy a house that were low down payment versus high down payment over the last 25 years. And what do you notice? Back in like 2003, 25% of the mortgages to buy a house were high down payment mortgages, more than 30% down. So think about that, everyone. 2003, 2004, 20% of the loans were high down payment loans during the biggest housing bubble of all time, whereas only 13 to 10% were low down payment. Now, what does it look like today? Fast forward to today. The low down payment loans were actually higher than the high down payment loans in 2020, 2021, suggesting that the mortgage quality in the US housing market is not nearly as good as people think. There's lots of low down payment loans. In addition, the debt to income ratios for FHA loans are near all-time highs. People are house poor. They can't afford the monthly payments. And so this causes me to believe that as the job losses mount, there's going to be way more mortgage defaults and foreclosures and way more banks taking people's homes in this downturn than people think. And
now, Cliff, brother, he goes a little bit long on that, but I'm not going to torture you guys that much on that. Man, he shared a lot of good information, some information that I'm not really surprised about, to be honest with you. It's consistent with what the financial metrics have been when it comes to the fruits of the market. I always look at what they're not talking about. You'll hear X, or inflation is coming down. You know, I'm looking around and I'm saying, wait a minute, but the fruits is not matching what you're saying concerning the rate. Something is being missed here. First and foremost, what do you think about what he actually said?
I think he's right in some areas. He's wrong in some other areas.
Okay, what is he right in?
Um, I would say he's right in the sense that unemployment rate is starting to tick up. We've seen a lot of that. A lot of companies are being squeezed. We're starting to see revenues from different companies in the S&P dropping.
Mhm,
So, you know, I think he's right there. That's going to have an effect.
mhm,
Where he's wrong in is just I don't see massive foreclosures. The point that
mhm.
he was trying to make with the fact that, hey, they're saying, hey, these are good mortgages, all that kind of stuff, right?
Sure.
The problem that he's seeing is he's making a correlation
Okay.
between the unemployment or the amount of down payment and the property going into foreclosure.
Okay.
The reason why that more people are using less down payment is because prices have increased. That's the difference between 2003. The affordability has gone down. Because affordability has gone down, you have to use less money that you want to put down. That's all you can do. So what
Sure.
that's a problem is with inventory. That shows me that it's an inventory problem. If we had more
Sure.
inventory, then prices would be lower. If prices would be lower, people could afford to put more down.
Sure. Sure. I hear your rationale. This is where
But
uh
and
go ahead.
oh my bad. And my last piece is to say the interest rates are not like they were. During 2008, they had adjustable. Now, majority of the loans are fixed, so people know what the future looks like.
Yeah.
And 90% of all loans are below 4.5, or I'm sorry, below 5%. 90% of the loans are below 5% interest rate. 75% of the loans are below 4.
Gotcha.
So if we're
All
getting foreclosures in a 4% interest environment, then the whole system broke.
what you're saying is, I hear what you're saying. Here is what I think may not be factored in. Number one, I am agreeing with you when it comes to the interest rates, right? Okay, no problem. 4%. That's the lion's share of the loans, right? Cool. But yes, you have an interest rate at around 4%, or maybe a little bit below, maybe a little bit higher. I'm rocking with that. But here is what I think that people are not seeing is this here is the cost of goods for living in said house has gone up. That's a cost there, right?
Right,
In oh 03, 4, and 5, there was no cost there. Inflation was not there. Does that make sense?
right,
So that's a
yeah,
variable. Then number two, people's wages are stagnated. In other words, inflation is outpacing their wages, right? So they had to manufacture a pay increase, right? Because the cost of goods and services are also going up on the corporations as well. And they're passing that cost on to consumer, which hence you see the cost of goods and services going up. Now, because they didn't get a organic pay increase because of performance from the companies that work for, all the companies passed on is cost, not profit. Okay, what has happened is homeowners or consumers have manufactured they've manufactured a pay raise via what? Credit card debt, and their savings are below 5%. That's the lowest in a long period of time. So the cost of goods and services is going up, right? Their debt has gone up, right? Their wages are stagnant now. Okay. So now you got a big problem now. So now they have to make the choice of, do I eat or pay the mortgage? Do I eat or pay this bill? Do I do this? Or pay? So that they have to make choices now versus in 08, 07, and 06, those variables were not involved in the equation. Here, and because in 08, in 05, 6, and 7, it was really centralized around the insurance industry, really the backing of it, the banking portion, and real estate. This is hitting every single industry. Every single industry now. That's where I think he's coming from. And if that is the case, big dog, I gotta agree with it. There's gonna be some significant foreclosures because now they can afford to pay in the house. They can't afford to stay there now.
Yeah, I mean, you have economic stagnation, right? So you going less money is flowing.
Yes.
I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, before it gets out of hand, the Fed has got one trick up their sleeve:
What's that trick?
cut. Which is what I've been saying, that if it starts going that direction, the Fed will not allow too much more pain. They won't do it. They will cut. The second they start getting good economic data, as I'm calling first quarter next year, you're going to see the first cut.
Even though they've said this week there's a pause, and we're pausing to see what's going to break.
They're going to cut. The inverted yield curve already shows that we're going to probably we're already headed towards a recession.
Already
Every
here.
time we get into a recession, every single time we've been in a recession, Dale, every time the Fed is cut.
I'm not going to disagree with that at all. Period. And you may be right on the cutting portion. Here's the one thing that I think is going to be different, and it's going to really kind of usurp them. They can't stop printing the money. Congress is not going to stop printing. The cutting only benefits if the printing begins to be correlated back. That ain't going to happen. That's not going to happen at all. They can't stop printing. I believe they're going to put another $2 trillion in the system here shortly. $2 trillion.
Yeah, that's going to exacerbate the inflation issue. But what is going to end up happening is they're going to end up cutting. I don't think they're going to cut as low as they were to 4% or 3%. That, by the way, that's a projection in 3 years from now. In 3 years from now, the projection is that you're going to have 3 to 4% interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
So we're headed that direction. So I think the first part of that is cutting. Once I think we already have proven that we've hit our inflation floor in this last quarter. We're gonna prove that. We have 2 more quarters left. We're gonna prove that we've hit our inflation floor. I've been calling. We're gonna pause a while back.
Yeah. Now you did say pause. I don't think we hit the floor. Now we got a question on Instagram. It says, "Do you see the difficulty in hiring personnel in service sectors has negatively affected the economy?" Potentially, yeah, because if you're not hiring new workers, that leads me to conclude that the cost for the corporations are doing the hiring is still too high, so it didn't benefit them at all to make any more hirings at all. I actually kind of see a lot of companies going the AI route and really curtailing back the hiring portion. To be honest with you, Cliff, you agree?
Oh yeah, AI is gonna be the next 10 years is gonna be the most disruptive thing we've ever seen.
It is.
Um, that's a fact right there. The service industry though, there's gonna be certain things you can't replace. Uh, those are always gonna be. I think those are gonna be in high
Sure.
demand. I think the
Sure.
service industry is gonna be in high demand, like in what is it, hotels. They can't
Mm-hmm.
find maids. They can't find people to
Can.
work the front desk.
Mm-hmm.
Same as McDonald's, places like that. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there's still going to be a lot of demand in those areas. That's why you see those areas, wages are picking up.
Yeah,
I
I,
mean,
I
you
s-
can go,
I see
yeah, go
that,
ahead.
but wages are picking up, but they can't find no workers. So you actually have
Right,
McDonald's
right.
going automated now. I don't know if you went to the automated McDonald's in Fort Worth.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
whole thing is automated. Automated.
I know. I heard about that. I ain't been to it, but I heard about that.
The whole thing. There's no workers. Nobody's there. It's all ran automatically by machines. I think that's what's going on because McDonald's, cannot hire any more people.
Yes,
They can't find nobody to hire, and they're raising their rates to $15 an hour, and a signing bonus. You can get a signing bonus at McDonald's.
Papa John's, the CEO of Papa John's said that he took a one location and just kept raising prices to see how far do I have to keep raising
Yes,
prices to find somebody, and it got
yes,
crazy. I think he said we started seeing applications around $30 an hour
yeah.
to work at Papa John's. That's
Papa John,
a
yes, sir.
that's a $60,000 to $65,000 a year job to
That's
work at
correct.
Papa John's.
That's correct. Yes,
But
and go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I think that tells me though that the amount of money we pumped in the system is resetting all these levels that the second the economy is okay, we are going to see a boom. I'm calling the 2020s going to be the biggest economic expansion that we've seen in a long since the 90s because there's so much money in the system. It's going to be false. It's going to be fake. But it's because of so much money has entered the system. We're
Nowhere to go.
slowing demand. The second we let go of that dam, demand's going to fly back.
The money has nowhere to go. Hence the inflation. There's nowhere to go. There's so much money floating in there. That's why I say more printing is going to be an issue because why? The existing money was not in place. They didn't spend all the COVID money. They spent all the COVID money.
Right.
So
right.
and I'm like, man, there's so much money in the system. And yes, AI will replace them. Yes, it will. It will replace them. And you have some Papa John's. Somebody sent on 15% on Instagram. Their Papa John's isn't even open but partial days. They can't find nobody to work.
Yeah.
That's crazy stuff. But now, guys, this is what I want to get to. Cliff, did they change the calculation of inflation rate?
Now you told me about this, so you're gonna have to educate me on this a little bit.
My man PBD, Patrick B. David, man, he went in on this one, Doc. Man, listen to this, y'all. Listen to this, y'all. Listen real closely.
So a lot of people are concerned, confused, and wondering what the hell is going on with inflation because they're saying inflation is going lower, but just in Q1, they announced 270,000 job cuts by U.S. employers, up 396% above last year, same time, 5 times more. The last time we had something like this, if you take out COVID, was 2009. Yet people are starting to realize just this year, 2 or 3 months ago, they changed something in the Bureau of Labor Statistics on the way they measure inflation, and people are starting to realize why they did it, to not get people to be concerned. Wait till you see some of this data in today's episode.
Cliff, man, right there, Doc. What do you think so far, bro? Right there, what do you think so far?
Yeah, I did hear something about them adjusting some kind of calculation. I guess that's what he's talking about here.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense because this is all artificial. Our
Yes,
whole
it is.
system's artificial. We can't stop printing money. We got too much money in. The problem is with inflation is we have demand. That's our biggest problem is we have demand, and the Fed's trying to curtail that. But the problem is the second the Fed starts to loosen up, the demand's gonna keep coming up. Inflation's gonna keep pushing.
But here's the big thing about it. This is why I think that we ain't hit rock bottom. When you begin changing definitions and change the calculations, that tells me you hiding some. You're hiding some. Now let's listen. Let's see what they did. See what they did. Oh, this is what they did.
Last $100,000, they don't know what they're going to be doing. The bank's not giving them anything. They have the upside of building a business, but they can't find that money. A place like Funding Growth can help business. A line of credit
All right, cool.
is at 4 points. See free access to business credit.
All right, good. All right.
So if you get value from the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So they're telling us inflation today is 6.5%, give or take. Yeah, inflation is fine at 6.5%. It's not really as bad as you think it is. And a lot of people are confused saying, how is that even possible? Because chicken's up 10.5%,
Wow.
butter is up 26%, milk is up 50%, egg 170% in certain markets, coffee 13%, baby food 10%, rice and pasta 15%, bread 15%. How is it possible if all of these things are up the way they are for you to say inflation is only up 6.5%? Yet if you go
Now, Cliff, honest, is that an honest question?
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's keep going.
to the official versus the shadow stats of how we used to measure inflation, you will notice if you look at the blue versus the red shows that inflation is only 6.5%.
Yeah.
But blue, the top, shows we're somewhere between 13 to 14% inflation. But this isn't the only thing that you have to see what happened. Just this year, if you go on the BLS website, U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, they announced something very quietly. I don't know if you heard about it or not. Matter of fact, I'd love to know if you heard about it. If you did, comment below. It said beginning with the January 2023 index scheduled for publication on February 14, 2023, BLS plans to update the spending weights in the calculation of the CPI every year instead of every 2 years. So you may say, I don't get it. What's the big deal with that? Let me explain to you what the big deal of this and just kind of see the optics. If you look at the historical rates, we're just going to go back 5 years. Do you see that? How it goes January, February, March, all the way down to December and the years. So the old way of measuring inflation, let's just look at February of 2023. It says it's 6%, right? So if we do the old way of how much inflation is higher, you would measure it from 6% to February of 2021. And they would have to say inflation is up 4.3% than what it was 2 years ago. Versus the new way of measuring it, they have to go from February, which is 6%, to last year, which was 7.9%, and they get to say the magical words. Look at our policies. Inflation is down 1.9%. And you and I sit there on TV and we hear a president say this, and you say, I don't understand how. How can you say something like this? Well, it is because of our phenomenal policies. Inflation is down. And we have to say, all right, I'm just not feeling it. Maybe it's me. Maybe others are not feeling it. And you start thinking like you're being maybe gaslighted, or you're the dummy. You're not the dummy. You're being gaslighted because they changed the way they measured certain data. So somebody may say, who's this affecting?
Cliff, bruh. bruh. I'm calling some BS here. This is the reason why I am like, I ain't believing nothing. Because when you doing that type of shit, bruh, you know what I'm talking about? Something is going on. So they changed the calculations from every 2 years, and you saw the numbers, right? You saw it. The regular way, it would be up 4.3%, but they changed it. So now instead of 2 years, it's every year. So they can say, oh, it went down to 1.9%. BS. This is what I mean by they hiding something, bro. Tell me the strip clip. Am I off base talk? Hold me accountable.
They're just hiding the fact that inflation is not even close. It's 15%.
That's what it is. Come on.
15%.
Come on, bro.
Think about it. Y'all ain't like everybody looking out there. Y'all ain't dumb. Are y'all seeing? Are y'all seeing? Oh man, inflation's up 3%. I went to the dollar store the other day. It's not the dollar store.
No,
it's the $1.25 store.
Preach the gospel.
They added 25 cents. The entire store, everywhere you go, you're like, oh, this is $1? No, that's $1.25. It was $1 last year. So now it's up 25% in 1 year. So we all know that when they say the interest, oh, we're at 4% inflation. We're not at 4%. We're at 4% inflation from last year, which was up almost 10-15%.
Bruh, man, the question on the video said, did the U.S. government just manipulate the inflation rate?
Oh, 100%.
Hell yes. Yes. So if it's so good, people can tell me this is a great economy. If it's so good, why are you changing stuff? It's good, right? Why you changing definitions and shit? You know what I'm talking about? You change the calculations and shit now, but it's wrong though. But you got to change the stuff to show it's wrong. Man, it's just some trash, bro.
It's very simple. Let me borrow money from you based on how we just changing calculations. let me borrow money. I don't owe you $100. No, I owe you $20, because if you look at it from the way that I bought it from you before, they always do that. They always, instead of telling you the truth, they changed the definition. That
This
is,
is
it's a
man.
bait and switch.
This is man.
Like,
Hey guys, believe your pockets. No, believe your pockets. Not what somebody's telling you. Too many people in this world have an invest and hope strategy. Investment. I actually have realtors saying people can buy properties, and it sounds oddly familiar to 2008. People can buy properties, Cliff, and pay 7.5%. If you go conventional, it's 9 to 10%. Conventional, 9 to 10% fixed. They said, "Well, go on and do that and just refinance next year." I'm like, yo, if you have an invest and hope strategy, I will never follow your counsel. Never follow your counsel at all. Period. No, it don't make no sense at all. So if they change the definitions, Cliff, I'm saying, man, you hiding some. Hiding some.
they're trying to manipulate people who don't know and want to understand. But the truth,
Trash.
it is what it is. Whether what I say, what Dale say, what ends up what you see is what you see. Don't doubt yourself. When you see chicken and eggs and trying to get a new car, everything is up, and it ain't no 5%. That means the house. I was trying to buy a car. It was $10,000. I was up 4%. So now it's only 10,400. Nah, we saw used cars go from a $10,000 car to a $13,000 car, $14,000 car. That ain't no 3%, 4%.
Bruh, stop changing definitions, man. Tell people the truth, man. Come on, bro. You gaslighting people.
Why, if it works?
Yeah, why? It's roaring. We're on fire. Yeah, we on fire, right? They burn this hole down. We burn this hole down. We on fire, right? We all on fire. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. It's this man. What did Lord Banks say? We on fire up in here? It's burning hot? Yes. They're gonna burn the roof out of some other effort. Yes, they are.
The financial system's broke. It's broke. It don't operate. It don't function correctly no more. They broke it. We have banks. We've only had so many banks fail in this country.
Mhm.
Of the top 3 largest banks to fail, 2 happened this year.
Actually, it was actually 3.
My
The first one they didn't talk about, Silvergate. They just have the whoop. Then SVB, they got to talk then. Then you got Credit Suisse. Then you got First Republic. That's 4, right? There's a 5th one coming, guys. There's a 5th one coming. What you mean, Liddell? Yeah, I'm trying to told y'all. The 5th one coming. When you changing definitions, guys, recession, okay? And when you changing calculations on the inflation rate to say, look at our policies, you bullshitting people. Stop bullshitting people, man. Tell people the truth. Tell the truth. And then let's get in the room and figure this thing out. Figure it out. But that's not what politicians want to do. They want to put the checks out and say, look what we did. Yeah, you effed things up. There's a reason why most politicians have no real world experience at all, but they're making policy. Trash, garbage. No.
So because you got to remember, you got to have a philosophy. I'm in the modern monetary theory. That's my philosophy. That's what I believe in. Because you could spend as much money as you want.
Mhm.
Deficits mean nothing. The problem is people who believe that kind of stuff is the deficit. It's gonna get so bad that when you pay taxes, you're gonna say, why is the pothole not being fixed? Why is the schools not doing well? Why is the security not getting paid well? You're gonna realize that most of the taxes you pay is going to interest
Yes.
because we have so much debt, and some got changed at some point in the next 10 years. We're gonna figure that out.
And guys, I tell you this, guys, is I'm a terms and definitions guy. Okay. The word deficit for deficit spending, what's the root word? Deficient. The meaning of that word, the definition behind deficient means not enough. So deficit spending is asinine. It don't make no damn sense at all. So get this. We have a GDP of 24 trillion. That sounds pretty good, don't know if you're doing the clip. Well, our debt, and they're missing two things on our debt. Social Security is not on our debt. Medicare is not on the debt as well. Those are not in those debt numbers at all. Okay? They're saying it's 31 trillion. So let me get this straight. Cliff, we're going to do real estate. Your house is valued at $24 trillion, right? Your house. But you owe $31 trillion. Is that a good deal?
No.
No. Let's get this. Let's go a little deeper. The revenue coming in, Cliff, we have $4 trillion worth of revenue coming in. Your property is generating $4 trillion, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're paying out $6 trillion. Okay? Is that a good thing?
No.
Tell me how we have a growing economy. I'll wait.
Because the debt is not real. The debt, it's the manipulation of the debt. Basically what it is. So we're gonna give you a fundamental. I'm gonna give you a little crack into what we're doing. You know, we're probably gonna talk a little bit. I can expand on this tomorrow, but just understand this: our current system has more debt than dollars. There is not enough dollars to pay back the debt. We are a debt-based system. Now that you understand, you know that. That's why you buy assets, inflationary resistant assets.
Come on.
Because our system requires more printing. If we didn't print, the entire system would implode because we don't have enough cash to pay back all the debt. It's that simple.
Hence, 4 trillion in, 6 trillion out. And these fools want to print more money. Hey, believe your pockets, not what some politician tells you. Believe your pockets. But guys, thank y'all for your time. Guys, tomorrow, we're having a free masterclass, guys. I'm going to do this real fast for the people in the back row, guys. Man, Cliff, this has exploded, guys. We have, guys, we have a full house. A full house tomorrow. I think we have about 2 or 3 more slots available, guys. Just 2 or 3 more slots, right? 2 or 3. That's it. Guys, we having a free master class. It's 100% free. All you gotta do is just book your seat. That is it, guys. No question is off limits. New construction, right? Buying flip, buying hold, rental properties, construction alone, apartment complexes, commercial buildings. You name it, we talking about it. And we got a good surprise for the people that actually attend this, guys, from an educational standpoint and also from a capital standpoint. Get access to the education you need and the capital you need to be able to acquire properties at a high scale pace. Man, Cliff, man, tell them about tomorrow, though. This is going to be epic tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, we're going to dive into a lot of different topics, really give y'all everything. Really, that's it. And then the next best thing is, now that you got all the information, you can ask questions on what you don't understand. So we can go into provide you some guidance as much as we can.
Yes, it's a free masterclass, guys. It's 100% free. It don't cost you a dime. You just go to the QR code or go to cashflowclub.biz, or the link is in our bios. No matter where you're at on the platform, guys, link is in the bio. Sign up for it. We have about 2 or 3 slots left, guys. That's it. We have a full house. We got a lot of people that signed up. I'm excited about it. It's going to begin at 12 noon tomorrow, Central Standard Time. Okay, 12 noon Central Standard Time. And guys, we're going to ask any question you want. I was on the phone with one of the attendees today about a property. He said, man, this is going to be, he's so excited. We were talking about one of his deals. I said, bring this deal to the masterclass tomorrow. Let's walk through it. Let's walk through it together so that you get real live free training. But guys, that's all I have for today. Cliff, man, want to say anything, man, before we log off?
Nah, man. Just if you hop on tomorrow,
We can't hear you.
you
We
hear
can't hear
me?
you. Can't hear you at all. What happened? Did we lose you? We done lost Cliff. Are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
We can't hear you at all. Log back off and log back in. It just cut you off, brother. It just said we tired of Cliff. So, anyways, guys, man, Cliff will come back in real quickly, guys. There he is. Boom. You there, Cliff?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Now we can. Yeah, so go ahead, brother.
Gotcha. Yeah. Just saying. Yeah. Hop on tomorrow. Ask some questions. Hit us up in our DMs. And we're gonna have a lot of fun tomorrow going over everything. So, man, good conversation. We went almost an hour today. So
We did,
um,
man. Really
yeah,
long
just
today.
appreciate y'all time and everything, man. And we're gonna see y'all tomorrow.
Yes, sir, guys. But guys, you know how we end this thing every single time, man. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it never broke because you're looking at us. But guys, before you leave, and while you can, guys, take that picture for your mom and them guys and holler at your partners, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow in the masterclass, guys. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Peace.
God give thanks.